Hi sunshines, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If this is your first time seeing this beautiful face, hi, I'm Uchechi Winifred, aka Winifred Carl. I'm a Nigerian YouTuber currently based in British Columbia, Canada. I recently completed my MBA degree and I'm currently navigating the job market here in Canada. Whether you are a newcomer, a career changer, or you're simply curious about career success in Canada, you are most definitely welcome. Today, we are diving into a topic that's incredibly relevant: how to stand out in Canada's job market in 2025. If you're living in or you're planning to move to Canada, this video is for you. As someone navigating our own career journey, I understand how incredibly challenging it can be to adapt and stand out in a competitive job market. That's why I'm so excited about today's video, and also because we have a very special guest joining us. I'm honored to introduce Adeiza Suleman, the founder of QnA. QnA is an incredible platform that is dedicated to equipping professionals with the skills and tools they need to thrive in a rapidly changing workforce. Adeiza, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. I'm super excited to be here today.
Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to create QnA?
All right, fantastic. So my name is Adeiza Suleman. Like you've mentioned, I have a decade experience in data analytics, management consulting, data science, and so on and so forth. And just like so many people, my first degree was in something totally unrelated to what I eventually started to do when I graduated from the university. I studied industrial chemistry, but my first job out of the university was management consulting. So as a management consultant, I decided to pivot and transition into data analytics because I could see clearly that that was where the world was going. So I did data analytics. I have about a decade experience at the moment. I worked for my first organization where I worked as a data analyst is FITC, owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, and the Bankers Committee. I moved from FITC to Sahara Power Group, one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa. While I was in Sahara Group, I worked as a management information systems analyst. So that's just a fancy way of saying a data analyst that reports directly to the management and the owners of the business. So it was at that point, before I even got to Sahara, I had started working on projects. I had started working on different projects remotely from Nigeria, working for companies in the US, working for companies in the UK. So I could see clearly that starting from where I started, getting these opportunities, moving to Sahara, a lot of people wanted to do the same thing that I had achieved and I had done. So I got a lot of questions. And from there, the idea to help more people like myself transition, became a reality. Because most of the companies I worked with in the US, for example, I helped an organization to move their Tableau reports because they were implementing Power BI across the system within the organization. There was no other African on the team. There was nobody that looked like me on the team. We had Indians, we had Pakistanis, and so many other nationalities. And that was where I decided that how can I help more people like myself that look like me, Africans in Africa, Africans in the diaspora, to transition. So in August 2020, we set up QnA as a platform to help more people transition into the tech ecosystem. And over the last 4 years, going into the 5th year, we've helped over 2,850 people make that jump from their previous career path into different areas like data analytics, data science, business analysis, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. So I'll say that's a bit of introduction about myself. I currently reside in Alberta, Canada, where QnA is also registered as a business. I've lived in the UK, I've worked in the UK, and I currently reside in Canada. So I'm sure I'll get to share more experience as we move on today.
Absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. You have a lot of experience in this field. As we know, the Canadian job market is evolving rapidly, especially with the continuous immigration changes and everything. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges newcomers or career changers face?
That's a fantastic question because newcomers the major challenge is they always want to listen to everybody and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're moving from wherever country you're moving from Nigeria, from Ghana, wherever you're moving to Canada, to the US. But let's take Canada to be specific. People will tell you that go learn a skill. Okay, what type of skill do I need to learn? Oh, if you know how to braid hair, you make a lot of money. If you know how to cut hair as a guy, you get a barbing salon, as a barber shop, and so on. But those are not the skills that would make you stand out. So information is everywhere today. Somebody will tell you that, oh, the career path for you to move into is business analysis. Somebody says something different. So you need to narrow down your focus, all right? Know where to move to, the career path to pivot to. And the way we do this at Analytics is very simple. It's an educative research. And what we do is we scrape data from the major job boards. All right. We get the data to see the career path that are high in demand. So once we see this career path that are high in demand, we decide to juxtapose that against three major criteria because a career path is in high demand does not mean everybody can get in there. For example, robotics, you need some prerequisites in electronics, engineering, and so on and so forth. So we identify the career path that are high in demand, and we look for the career path that are easy to learn. Easy to learn in the sense that you can learn within the space of 6 months to 8 months or 12 months and easily get a job in that space. The second criterion we focus on is ease of transitioning. Like I mentioned earlier, my first degree was in industrial chemistry, but I worked as a data analyst, a data scientist, management information systems analyst, and so on and so forth. So how do you get a career path that is also easy to transition? Then the third part you need to focus on is high and rewarding salary. So I'm getting a career where it's easy to learn. I can learn within the space of 6 to 12 months. It's easy to transition into. It doesn't matter if what I did back home in Nigeria was working as a logistics manager, or I work as a nurse, or I work as an accountant. I can pivot into a new area like data engineering or data analytics. And then you go to the salary as well. The salary must also be worth it to move into those areas. So don't focus on all the noise, all the things people have to say. They're not professionals. They haven't been in that space. What you want to do is follow this process and you'd find the career path that are easy to learn. And I'll share some of those career paths with you today as we move on.
Wow, I love how you said you look at, like, you try to be realistic, because sometimes, obviously, robotics, you cannot, if you studied English like I did in my bachelor's, there's no how, not even magic can help you.
Exactly.
I feel because it's very, very, you need like those prerequisites. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So from your perspective, what are some of the top skills Canadian employers are looking for in 2025 and beyond?
Fantastic. So coincidentally, the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report came out, about 2 weeks ago. And what this report shows is the future of work. How would work look like in the next 5 to 10 years? So we look at this report it comes out every 2 years. Okay. So it shows you the career path that are growing and the career path that are declining. So my advice is we always look at things from a global perspective before we drill down and look at specific regions. Like I mentioned earlier, I got my very first remote job working for a company in the US while I was in Nigeria. So I wasn't just focused on getting a job in Nigeria. I was focused on getting a job beyond Nigeria, because these are global, skills you can apply anywhere in the world. Python in Nigeria is Python in the US, is Python in Canada. Now, having said that, when you look at the career path that are growing in demand and the career path that Canadian organizations are trying to recruit for, you'd find 8 key areas, most of them related to the data ecosystem, and the others are related to something related to technology, because that's where the world is going. And number 1 is AI, machine learning. So if you're in artificial intelligence, machine learning, you will get a job in Canada. You will not struggle. The demand is there and you'll easily get a job. The data analyst, the data scientist, So as long as you find yourself in the space of working with data, either you're analyzing the data, you are storing the data, you are extracting the data from where it is generated, storing it in a central location and making it easy for people to access, you will get a job. So that's the role of the data engineer, the business intelligence analyst, the cybersecurity professionals. Over 150,000 roles are left unfilled in Canada every single year for cybersecurity professionals. So organizations are looking for cybersecurity professionals in Canada. Then you have project management. However, not the conventional project management, but agile project management. And as an agile project manager, you can also get a job as a scrum master, an agile coach, and so on and so forth. Then you have business analysis. Okay, and of course you have HR analytics and financial analytics. Now I've listed 8 different career paths, but again, like I mentioned, we didn't just whip it out of thin air. Once we do the analysis I mentioned earlier to identify the career paths that are high in demand, we juxtapose against the 3 criteria: ease of learning, ease of transitioning, high and rewarding salary. We also look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, and it shows clearly. Anybody listening to this session today, just go on your browser, go on Google and type World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report 2025, and it will bring up that report for you. According to the reports, over 170 million new jobs will be created along the lines of the career path I just mentioned, while over 92 million jobs will disappear. Okay, so you want to be sure that I'm focused on the career path where there's prospects, there is a demand, and I'll stay relevant over the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm not stuck in a career path that is declining, and in the next 2 years, the next 3 years, I find myself struggling to land a job. The Canadian job market is very, very interesting, very dynamic. Like I said, I've lived in the UK. I know what type of resources you have available. And it's very important if you're in Canada, you're trying to get a job, especially within these areas I've mentioned. You should and must work with mentors, people that have done it and can advise you so you don't make the same mistakes that they've made. And it reduces the timeline for you to easily land a job eventually. I don't know if that answers the question, Winifred.
It does, especially the part where you mentioned mentorship. It's so important because, especially while I was in school, our professors kept hammering on that. Networking is really, really highlighted as critical in Canada. What would you say is the role of mentorship and career coaching, like the role it plays in helping individuals succeed, and how does 10 Analytics support that?
Yeah, you can't do without that in Canada, like I mentioned. Okay, in the UK, for example, there are processes, strategies for you to follow. Let's say Winifred joins a 10 Analytics program. We tell you exactly what you need to do. You can do that on your own, apply to jobs. You know the platforms to apply to. You attend your interviews. We prepare you for those interviews, and you land a job. It doesn't matter if it's a sponsored job, a job that comes with sponsorship, you get your COS, you get your tier 2 skilled worker visa. But in Canada, it's a bit different. Okay, you need to work with people that have been there, they've done it before, and they can walk you through. All right, and that's where the mentors and the coaches come in. They can guide you. And I'll give you a typical example. There was a gentleman who joined our program in 2022. He lives in Nigeria, but he's on his way to Canada as a PR. And let me tell you the way it worked. I was his mentor. I worked with him during his training with us. I continued being his mentor. He got a job in Nigeria. Then I attended an event in Edmonton Unlimited, one of the innovation hubs here in Edmonton. And I was speaking to somebody who has a gaming company. And when he learned that I also have a company here in Alberta where we help people transition into tech, he told me he was trying to recruit somebody. And he would like me to look at the person's profile and tell him what I think, because the person is also Nigerian. And guess what, Winifred? The person he was trying to hire was my mentee. So I saw his profile, and I told him that you hire this guy, you'd make the best hiring decision in the year 2024. So, and that was all he needed to hear. And this gentleman I mentioned, who is my mentee, is on his way to Canada, to Alberta, here in Edmonton, on PR, simply because he had a mentor like me who could stand for him and vouch for him. And these are the things we do at Tenalytics. Every Thursdays, we have mentorship sessions where myself, the co-founder, and other industry experts here in Canada, immigration experts, recruitment consultants, we bring them on board. They come to speak to you. You have the opportunity to ask questions that are critical and crucial to you transitioning into the space. So every Thursday we do that, because one of the things you'd find happen, generally among professionals trying to transition, they move to Canada trying to get a job, is they apply to 10 jobs, they get rejections, and they give up. They give up that it's too difficult, there are no jobs, and so on. But people are getting jobs every day. In this year alone, January 2025, about 7 of our students just got jobs here in Canada, from Edmonton here to Toronto to Saskatchewan. Like you mentioned, somebody got a job in Saskatchewan with Sask Energy as a HR analyst. And I would like to speak about that, later as we move on.
Oh, that's oh my gosh. Sunshines, I'm going to be leaving all their details in the description box. This is really, really, I can't believe this, because I'm really, really interested in HR analytics, because my MBA, the specialization was in HR, and I would really love to go into that field. So you mentioning this lady is like giving me a lot of motivation. What tips can you give for people that are trying to build their professional network here in Canada?
A fantastic question, and I'm glad you asked that question, because like I mentioned earlier, you don't have as much resources here in Canada compared to the UK and the US, like I mentioned earlier. So you must go the extra mile if you really want to break into a particular, career path and so on. Now, after having a mentor, which is number one, number two, nothing would happen at the comfort of your home. You must get up and interact with people. So one of the key strategies I always advise is, if you want to get a job in any of the areas I've mentioned, as a data analyst, as a business analyst, project manager, cybersecurity analyst, you have to be where these organizations are hiring. You have to be close to them. And the best way for you to do this is simple. Go on your browser and search innovation hubs near me, innovation hubs close to me.
Wow.
And these are the ways you'd easily build a network very fast. And I'll give you 2 examples. Edmonton Unlimited is one of the innovation hubs you'd find in Edmonton. Is funded by Alberta Innovates, and also part of Platform Calgary. So Platform Calgary is another innovation hub, but that's in Calgary. Now, what happens in this place? In these places, you have free events you can attend. We were a part of Edmonton Unlimited Accelerator last year, where we are one of the most innovative companies that stood out in that accelerator. Now, what happens in these places? You have the opportunity to interact with companies, the founders and the co-founders that are hiring, they're looking for people like you. I talked about the gentleman who is in Nigeria as my mentee. He had no idea that somebody was trying to hire him, and the person met me, and I told him that this is the best person for you to hire. I met the person in Edmonton Unlimited. Okay, so you want to be close to people, you want to be close to companies that can easily hire you, the founders, the co-founders. You have Mars in Toronto, in Ontario.
Yes.
That's Mars like the planet, MARS. It's also one of the largest innovation hubs in North America. You want to go to these events, attend the free events. They have free coffee sessions on Wednesdays. You attend on Wednesdays, you interact with people, let them know how good you are. I have skills in data analytics, data visualization. I built this dashboard, and that's where organizations can start to say, hey, this person knows his or her stuff and would like to have conversations with you about you joining our company. So that's one thing you want to do in 2025. Get up from your home, go out there, go to innovation hubs, go to tech hubs, interact with people, because that's where you'd find people that are trying to hire you, they're looking for you, and you easily get traction that way, if that makes sense, Winifred.
That makes a lot of sense. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You cannot be sitting in the house and be waiting for a miracle to happen. You need to actually reach out and make sure that you're using the resources that you have available in your area. Thank you. I feel like you've already shared a lot of like success stories, but I would love you to still like share some other examples of someone who used analytics to like advance their.
There's so many of them, but I'll stick to people in Canada. I talked about 7 people getting jobs this year. Wow. Last year, for example, in 2024, we helped over 350 people land jobs across different areas in different regions. And one of them was Busola. Busola joined us in March 2024. She was new in Canada. She had no experience. She joined our data analytics program. She completed the program, and a month after completing the program, she got a job with Desjardins in Ontario as a performance analyst. Okay, I wrote Busola's reference letter for her, and she's currently on that job, doing a fantastic job at Desjardins. That's Busola's story. You have, I don't want to mention her name because it's very recent. She got a job with Sask Energy this year, January 2025. And she's joining that company as a HR analyst. She joined us last year, October 2024, our HR analytics program. She completed the program. She joined our mentorship sessions, our internship, and today she landed that job in January, about a week ago, with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan as a HR analyst. You have Prince. Prince used to be an accountant, but then he moved to Calgary. He got his PR. He moved to Calgary, and he tried to get a job for so many months. Then he joined our business analysis program, and today Prince is a business analyst with Scotiabank in Calgary. So these are some of the success stories. It doesn't matter what you've done before. Just like Prince, who was an accountant back in Nigeria, but today he's a business analyst. You have somebody like Olua Fikayo. I just remembered Fikayo. Fikayo joined she has a background in finance, but she couldn't get a job in finance when she moved to Canada. So she joined our data science program. She completed the program. We worked with her during her interviews, and she landed a job as a business solutions analyst with a company also in Toronto, Ontario. So these are some of the success stories we see, and over 350 last year, 2,850 over the last 4 years, and so many new success stories still keep on coming, because the strategy to success is pretty straightforward. We've done it. We know what it takes, what you need to do, and how to get there eventually.
This has enlightened me so much, especially because one thing people don't understand is, yes, it's okay for you to do your MBA, do your master's in business and all of that. But for 10 Analytics, I love how you have a tailored way of making sure people actually get the skills, because we're just in class in the program. They'll just touch on things, just the basics. You not really get the intricate skills, like the tools that you need to actually succeed in those roles that you're trying to get.
Yeah, and I want to share something with you very quickly. Based off what you just said, 54% of university graduates work in career paths that are totally unrelated to what they studied.
Oh my God.
All right. I studied industrial chemistry. I've worked as a data analyst in the data space over a decade. I don't know what you studied, Winifred, but I don't know if you're working in a career path related to what you studied.
My bachelor's was in English. I did that.
Interesting.
But now I'm in social services. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. So organizations also know this. They know that. And another statistic I would like to share is 13%, only 13% of graduates actually have the skills to do the job after graduating. So imagine 100 people going to the university. Out of that 100, 54 of them would go to do something totally different from what they studied. Out of the 46 remaining, only 13 would have the experience and the skills to actually do the job based on what they studied. All right. So organizations know this. They know that the university does not equip you with the skills, the knowledge, and the technical know-how to do the work in the real world to help them solve problems. And that's why you see organizations, you go through training and so on and so forth. The best thing you can do is equip yourself with skills. So we have people who are doing their postgraduate certificate programs, they're doing their masters, but then they join us, they work with us, we help them with their interviews, you work on practical real world projects. And during your internship, you get to work on real world projects in a cross-functional team, whereas a business analyst, you are working together with a data analyst, with a cybersecurity professional, and that simulates the real world of work. And that's why when you attend interviews as a Analytics alumni or alumnus, you sound different. You sound like somebody who has actually done that job, not somebody who watched videos or who learns in class in front of a presentation and so on and so forth.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so the next question I have is, how do you see the future of work evolving in Canada? And are there specific trends or industries that people should be paying attention to?
Absolutely. So again, like I mentioned earlier, what people want to focus on is simple. What you need to focus on is very simple.
Yeah.
Where will the jobs be created? Okay, so what is in demand today and what career path will grow? Yeah. And the career path that will decline. I'll give you some of the career path that will decline over the next few years. According to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports, the accountants and the auditors, their roles would decline in demand. Yes, the lawyers, the graphics designers, the training and development specialists, the cashiers, the bank tellers, and so on and so forth. There are numerous roles that are declining in demand. Even product management. Product management will decline in demand over the next 5 years. So the big question is, if I want to transition, I need to know where the opportunities are. The career path that are in demand today and the career path that will keep on growing. Now, the economy in Canada has kind of stagnated or even declined over the last few years. Yeah. And when the new prime minister comes in, there's likely going to be a lot of stimulation of the economy. New companies are going to decide to stay in Canada and not to leave, based on the tax, company income tax, and so on and so forth. Over the last decade, the number of companies in Canada has dropped by over 5% in terms of new companies staying back in Canada, simply because of the tax regime and so on and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of stimulation of the economy. And the areas where you'd have career growth, demand for different roles would be in the tech ecosystem, including the data ecosystem, and so on and so forth. So I mentioned them earlier, I'll mention them again very quickly. There are 8 areas we want to focus on: the data analyst career path, the data science career path, the data engineering, business analysis, cybersecurity, financial analytics, HR analytics, and agile project management. Okay, so these are the 8 career paths that are in demand today and will keep on growing in demand over the next 5 to 10 years in Canada and globally as well.
Sunshine, are you listening? Take notes. What's one thing viewers can do today to start building their future-proof career here in Canada?
I'll give you the 6-step approach. 6 things you must start doing. Number 1 is identify the career path you're interested in. Okay. Take out all the noise. People would say so many things. Somebody will tell you today that, it's business analysis. Tomorrow they tell you that, it's data analytics, and so on. Just pick one and focus on that one. Okay, so have a direction and know what you want to do. So let's say you pick cybersecurity, for example. Stick to that and you start learning that skill. That's number 1. Number 2, you don't want to learn in an environment where you're learning alone. Okay, so you're watching videos and trying to figure things out yourself. That will take you too long for you to transition. You're going to spend an average of about 18 months to 2 years or even longer, because you'll be making mistakes and trying to figure out on yourself by yourself. So you want to be in a blended learning environment where you can watch videos, practice, and then you have the opportunity to interact with a professional in that field, just like the way we do at Analytics. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is you must show proof of work and proof of experience. Okay? Employers will not hire you for your paper certificates. They won't hire you for your, qualifications in terms of I have this certification and all of that. That's not the reason. And that's, what's one of the misconceptions a lot of people focus on. But we have a saying at Analytics, and that saying is competence over credentials. Your competence includes your skills and your experience. That's what you want to focus on first of all. So you must have proof that you've done the work before, and that's where you must have a portfolio of the projects you've completed. So it doesn't matter the career path, you must have a portfolio. The link to that portfolio must be on your CV, your LinkedIn. Anybody should be able to go there to access and see what you've done, how good you are, the quality of the work you've done in the past. And that's what gives them the confidence to have conversations with you. So once you have a portfolio, you have proof that you can do the work. You must also learn employability skills. Okay, so a lot of people focus on the technical and they don't focus on employability. For example, how do I tailor my CV to job requirements? Okay, we have CV review sessions. We help you with your CV, your LinkedIn optimization. How do I have a LinkedIn profile that properly represents me based on the career path I'm trying to transition into? Okay, and most importantly, the interviews. So once you get interview opportunities, how do you prepare for interviews? Do you have somebody who has done that job before, who has worked in Canada, that can help you prepare, get the type of questions I'm likely going to get? And you have a mock interview session where they ask you questions and give you feedback on where you need to work more on before you eventually go in there and ace that interview. So how do you introduce yourself? How do you talk about competency-based questions? How do you answer them? These are the things you need to do. So your employability skills must also be in place, top notch, for you to get access into the type of jobs you're looking to get. And we do all these things for you at Analytics, from interview prep to CV review to LinkedIn optimization. So once you've done that, networking and mentorship is also very key. You must have a mentor you can ask questions. You must have somebody who is guiding you. This is what you need to do. This is what you must not do. And don't sit at the comfort of your home. Nothing happens, at the comfort of your home. You need to go out there and network, meet with people, and start from the innovation hubs close to you. All right? So once you've been able to do all of this, from identifying what you want to do, learning in a blended environment, having a portfolio for your proof of work, learning employability skills, your networking, and mentorship. These 6 things is where I would say you should start from. Now, if you ask, where can I get all the 6 of them without having to figure things out myself? Analytics offers every single thing, and that's what has made us super successful, because we know that getting a job, especially in an environment like Canada, goes far beyond just the technical. You must do a little bit more to break and access the type of jobs you'll be looking to get within the region.
Wow, this has been such an insightful conversation. Adeiza, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and practical advice with us today. And
it's a pleasure anytime.
I hope this discussion gave you some clarity and actionable tips on how to navigate the job market in Canada and stay ahead of the curve, because it's very important for you to be able to get information from people that have been through it, people that know what they are doing. So if you're ready to take your career to the next level, make sure to check out Analytics, and we'll give all the details, all the links in the description box.
So every weekend we have free sessions where people come into those sessions and ask questions. We also guide you on the different career paths, because people would ask, Adeiza, I studied logistics. Which of the areas do you think I need to go into? Where can I get the best value that complements my previous experience and my previous skills? So we have these sessions every Saturdays. All you have to do, like Winifred said, click on the link, join one of our communities, and start your journey from there. Join the free session, pick my brain, ask questions, and you get to decide exactly which career path you move into at the end of the day.
So before we wrap up, finally, Adeiza, do you have any last words or encouragement for my viewers today?
Yeah, so just get started. That's the most important thing, okay? The year 2025, as you grow as adults, time seems to move very fast, faster than ever. So before you know it, at the twinkle of an eye, we are in December 2025, then we move to 2026. So you want to achieve and achieve very fast. You want to make mistakes very fast and learn from those mistakes and move on to the next thing. So the most important thing for you is to get started. And like I mentioned earlier, the best place for you to start is join one of our free sessions, okay? Learn about the new career path you can get into, how to get into this career path, what you need to focus on. And you have the opportunity to ask questions and you get answers to those questions for free. You discuss, interact with industry experts. So I'll just say take action. Click on the link, join the community, and be a part of our next free session. And from there, your journey, all the people I mentioned, from the lady that got a job at Sask Energy this year to Busola who got a job with Destradines, they all started the same way. Join the free session, know where they want to get into those areas, and follow the 6-step approach. And that's what got them their job eventually. So get started today. That's my last advice to you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure my viewers, my sunshines, I'm sure they've learned a lot today and they're going to be able to apply it. Make sure to join the free session, okay, and take that step today. Thank you so much once again. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Cheers.